Good morning, everybody, and I welcome all councillors and members of the public that are watching online to the latest meeting of North Northamptonshire Executive, including those watching on live stream and YouTube. Members are reminded to keep their microphones muted and their laptops on silent unless invited to speak. Do we have any apologies for absences?
Good morning, Chair. Thank you very much for that. We've got apologies from Councillor Mark Pengelly and also Anne-Marie Dodds.
Okay, that's all noted. Thank you very much. And it's good to see Rochelle here in her place. So, item 2, declarations of interest. Members, are there any declarations of interest? Councillor Penton.
Thank you, Chair. As with previous meetings, there are some agenda items where in my other place of work I've attended meetings but come here without predetermination on any of the matters.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Penton. Any other from members? No. Okay. So we move on to item 3, notifications to address the meeting. I can confirm that we've received requests to address the meeting, and on item 4, Councillor Valerie Anslow. Item 5, Councillor Jean Addison and Councillor Jim Hakewell. Item 6, Councillor Jean Addison and Councillor Valerie Anslow. Item 8, Councillor Valerie Anslow. Item 9, Councillor Martin Rubian and Councillor Jim Hakewell. And item 10, Councillor Jim Hakewell. So item 4, which we move on to now, which is the Performance Indicator Report for period 12, March 2023. As I can see, Councillor Ansow's not here, so I will move to Councillor Bunday to introduce the report.
Thank you, Chair. On balance, the performance for period 12 shows a positive picture for the council performance. Of those with a target, 58% were performing on or above target, 11% are within tolerance, and 28% were performing below target. 3% have missing data, which reflects 2 indicators. As far as direction of travel, of the 135 performance indicators reported this month, performance has improved in 29 indicators and deteriorated in a further 29. I'm sure colleagues around the table will be wanting to comment on their own portfolio areas. A couple of observations from my areas. The issue highlighted in MPS 14, individual rights requests completed in time, shows 0 out of 6. The information governance team is currently going through restructuring, and these requests were allocated to one individual, which created a single point of failure due to that individual having unforeseen absence. All these cases have now received a response in full, and the case is closed, and steps to prevent a recurrence of this has been taken for the future. Although the number of complaints has risen, this is quite common around this time of year. The 3 main topics are council tax bills, garden waste, and the felling of trees. Inevitably, again, this time of year, the number of calls has risen, and so the percentages answered has reduced. But I think it should be noted that customer services have answered over 10,000 more calls during the month of March, as opposed to the previous month of February. And customer services have helped over 11,000 more customers during this month than previous months. With that, Chair, I'm happy to take any questions, but I'm happy to propose the recommendation at paragraph 3.
Thank you, Councillor Bunday. It's useful to hear. Good to see our customer service teams are working efficiently and taking the calls. I guess most of those were prompted off the back of the council tax that came out, and so that's encouraging to see that we've handled those calls and taken more, and shows capacity within our teams. So I'm going to go around the table now for members to put in a comment for their areas. Councillor Harrison, I know you wanted to talk.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I just wanted to say how pleased I am to see that our performance indicators on the NHS health checks is now going in the right direction, and the number offered is now in the green, and I think that is in no small part down to the other provisions that we've put in place, and it's great to see that's moving in the right direction. I know that if Councillor Anne Lee were here, she would also be congratulating us, as she's asked us many times about that particular performance indicator, so that's really gratifying to see.
Thank you, Councillor Harrison. That's something she raises all the time, and I'm sure you can communicate that with her offline. But no, thank you. Well done to your team, Susan, David as well. Fantastic work. Councillor Pentland.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to highlight that I was pleased to see such a high percentage of waste being diverted from landfill. For Q2, it was 90 or just over 93%, which is an increase from the previous quarter. And I know that we've got a really hard-working team of officers who are always looking at ways which waste can be diverted from landfill. So I'm sure we'll see that go up in the future. It's a good start.
Thank you, Councillor Pentland. Councillor Brackenbury.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, always welcome the performance indicators. It's a bit of a snakes and ladders game in the planning service sometimes, but it's important to see the data, which always remains consistently above national government benchmarks. So, I think a pat on the back to the planners. We always keep an eye on the progress of all these indicators as to whether they're going up, down, or sideways. And I think it's also worth noting that there are the additional performance indicators highlighted on this report, which are also of considerable interest. Notably in things like the 5-year housing land supply, which we continue to meet. So it's all in all a very worthwhile and very useful report, as I say most meetings, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brackenbury. That's most useful. So looking around the table, there's no further comments from members. Going back to yourself, Councillor Bunday, just to wrap up and move the recommendation report.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah. The only comment I would make, and I think it's a comment that would be echoed all the way around the table, is that a good performance should never generate complacency. And it's pleasurable to see that because the direction is always being positive, that is something that we're not doing. So with that, I'm happy to move the proposal of paragraph 3, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Bunday. So, members, the recommendations are set out on page 6 of your agenda pack. They've been moved. Can I look for a seconder, please? Councillor Brackenbury, thank you very much. Can I have a show of hands in favour? Fantastic, thank you very much. So we now move on to item 5, North Northamptonshire Vision. Councillor Addison is not here, so I would like to invite Councillor Hakewell to come and address the meeting. Councillor Hakewell, you have a maximum of 3 minutes. Thank you.
It would be easy to be critical of the 50,000 spent on getting this vision produced, but I've only got 3 minutes. But I'm always available for thoughts. What would have been better than recruiting faraway consultants would have been to go to the people of North Northamptonshire, set up public meetings and ask what residents and businesses want to see as a legacy from the decisions the Council is making today. Public meetings are a rich source of ideas and inspiration, but more importantly, a way to bring people on board to create their vision of how their places will develop and using their council tax. In the foreword to the vision, you say, so often in our working lives we have to focus on the tasks or problems immediately in front of us and do not get the time to think about the wider picture or longer-term future. Well, I can tell you there's a massive problem immediately in front of you, and that is the advertised closure of the Kettering Leisure Village on the 3rd of July. It will be pointless thinking about the wider picture if the Council stands by and does not save the facilities that have supported community and business life over the last 30 years. The word conference appears 20 times in the report before you, and yet the premier local and regional and national conference centre, sports and leisure facility that could be one of the key centres for the development of this vision, is threatened with imminent closure. The Council has the resources, human and financial, and most of all, vibrant, enthusiastic community to create something special. All it needs is a clear vision from you as elected leaders to enable this to happen. Come out from behind your bureaucratic barriers and engage with the very people who will be driving force in the Council's vision, a community full of ideas that can make all of our futures happy and sustainable. Go to the public meeting next week.
Councillor
Listen to the people
Hakewell,
who have raised
Councillor
signatures
Hakewell, can I just stop
in
you there?
support of keeping the...
Thank you. Councillor Hakewell, Councillor Hakewell, you're meant to be talking about the item, the agendaed item, not catch... Sorry, could someone...
Or should...
Can you...
Councillor Hakewell, the chair has asked you to stop speaking.
Can I ask him to be removed from the meeting if he continues?
Thank you to everyone watching this. This is democracy.
Okay, so thank you for that, Councillor Hakewell. Just a couple of points on what you have said. Whilst we brought this piece of work to the forefront, there wasn't an issue at Kettering Leisure Village, and I can assure you that our team is working with Phoenix Leisure to find a solution to what's going on, and that will come out in all due course. The part of the engagement process on this was that we did meet with many of the businesses, many elected members, which of course, as you remember, you were one of them, and were rather enthusiastic about it. However, we will continue to engage with members of the public and all of our partners in the area. So as you all know, we're now in our third year as a unitary authority and can be absolutely proud of the level of delivery that we have achieved. Last autumn, back in 2022, the Chief Executive and myself began discussions on what a wider aspirations could be created for the whole place of North Northamptonshire, and that could be shared and co-designed by all key stakeholders, residents and elected members in the North Northamptonshire area. We believe we now have a great opportunity to look to the future and imagine the place that North Northamptonshire can be and, more importantly, should be in 2050. To assist us, we commissioned an external consultant to work on the first phase of this work. They were commissioned back in October 2022 and have worked with a small team led by the Chief Executive and myself. The team reviewed existing strategies, local plans and partnership documents to build on this existing work that has already been undertaken, as well as engagement with a range of partners, community representatives, elected members and, importantly, staff, to set out this first proposal of what the best life in North Northamptonshire in 2050 could look like and how we can all develop the key milestones along the way. This work has accumulated into the North Northamptonshire Vision, which is in your packs today as Appendix A to the report. The vision covers a number of key areas, including what the vision is and what the vision's not. It highlights the key drivers of why we need a collective vision for North Northamptonshire. It also builds a proposed vision for North Northamptonshire and highlights the three key priorities that will drive our work to achieve this vision, and importantly, the next steps to progress the work done to date. The North Northamptonshire vision now needs further refinement and wider ownership. To do this, it is proposed that an event called the Big 50 Conference is held to bring together all the key stakeholders and have an important role to play in this and how to drive this out so it becomes well socialised amongst all of our partners. This aim is to bring together key partners and the community in North Northamptonshire to refine the proposed vision and to make the connections which are needed to start working towards it and the goals along the way. The conference will lead to a set of actions and outcomes. We need to make this happen. We all need to make this happen to involve everybody. This is a real opportunity for this council to start something great that will, I'm sure, put this area firmly on the map for the right reasons, and I am pleased we have commenced this piece of work. But also, we must ensure that this is that this is about the place and not the council. Although we have taken the lead to start this work, this has to be owned by everyone across North Northamptonshire, in all of our communities and all of our businesses, by residents, young and old. I want to hear from everyone who has an idea so we can get this into the mix and look forward to 2050, where North Northamptonshire is a better place and people will come to lead their absolute best lives. So, Executive, the report sets out the recommendations, and I hope you can support this, endorse this report. Over to you, members. Have you got any comments to make? Councillor Harrison, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is a really important piece of work. It's a great start in, I guess, laying down the challenge to all of our partners across North Northamptonshire to look at where they want us to be and how we all contribute to make that happen. Each one of us singly can make different changes. But unless we're all working together, we can't make those really huge changes that will have the most impact on North Northamptonshire. I think we can build on a lot of joint work that's already going on. You know, we work very closely with our partners across North Northamptonshire, and there are some that could be stronger, I'm sure. I think this is a brilliant start, and if we can get everybody engaged and involved, I do think that together we can make North Northamptonshire an even better place than it already is today.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Harrison. Councillor Howe.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I agree with Councillor Harrison's points. I think if we can get this off the ground and have a collective vision which brings all the stakeholders together and move forward together, it's a massive opportunity if we can make this work. And a couple of points that I thought was quite interesting in the document was obviously the population growth, which leads obviously to an ageing population, and then nicely leads on to our rural transport issue, which obviously isn't just an issue for us, it's an issue for areas that have large rural swathes in it. And you know, this sets to potentially address that issue and see if we can find solutions to rural transport, which is desperately needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Howe. Councillor Howell.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I too commend this report, actually. It's only right that we as a council try and involve everybody to look at our long-term goals, because without a vision, you know, and that end game, people struggle. You can't bring everything together. We are working really, really hard behind the scenes on many different strategies for many different areas. And we are the ones here that have the connections. Obviously, we work with local businesses, we work with other providers, we work with all of those people, and bringing those key people together is something that we as a council can do. And it is our responsibility to ensure that we bring everyone together and give that impetus and a starting point for it. So I think this is really worthwhile, and I commend both yourself and the Chief Executive for the work that you've put in on this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Howe. Councillor Lorman.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I think this is actually an exciting project, and it's well presented. I thought a Big 50 conference was an opportunity for the public to participate and give their views, but maybe I'm wrong. And so I think it is inclusive, and it involves a lot of partnership working and a chance for residents to influence the direction of the authority and the area. As Councillor Howes said, there's also a recognition of some of the issues, and I picked out the rural transport, and that's something that's also come through in the local area partnership, so it's something we are working on. And I think just keeping it to 3 priorities makes it workable and makes so we can achieve something. So I welcome this report and look forward to it.
Thank you, Councillor Lorman. Councillor Brackenbury.
Thank you, Chair. I mean, like colleagues, I very much welcome this report, and I very much welcome all the thinking and hard work that's gone behind producing this starting document, but this starting document of something which I think will be quite an overarching project. Of course, we are wanting to go out to everybody in North Northamptonshire who live here, who work here, who pass through here, who visit the area as well. to get their feedback. This is not just a council project. This is not a finished document that we've just produced and, you know, spent money on consultants and here it is, this is the vision. No. This is the starting point of a journey which I hope will involve as many stakeholders up and down Northamptonshire as possible. And I particularly welcome it in the business environment because what we're wanting to do is to promote a balanced economy, because with a growing population, with demographic changes, we want the jobs that we have here in Northamptonshire to be varied and to be of as high quality as possible. So the work that's going to go on in here will, of course, be valuable evidence for all directorates in this council as information comes in to feed the work that they'll be doing. So I very much commend the document and look forward to the conference when it comes forward. I think it'll be an exciting meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bracken. We'll make sure you get an invite. Councillor Pentland.
Thank you, Chair, and I echo the points that my colleagues have made, and without wishing to repeat too much on what they've said, I think it is really important that we get across the message today to residents that this is absolutely their vision and local businesses, and it would be disingenuous to say otherwise, and that message needs to be clear that we want everybody involved in this. The very fact that this report is coming forward as a starting point for this says that this council wants it to be owned by everybody in Northamptonshire. The easy option for a council would be to bring forward a vision, approve it and say, there we are, that's what we've got. But this is very much the starting point. So it's a good opportunity for our area and for everybody to make sure they put what they want to see into this, to make sure it's a success and make sure we build on those joint working opportunities that are already in place, but that can be grown for the future benefit. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Pentland. I mean, look, guys, thank you very much for the support on this document. I mean, it's important that we get this right. It's important that someone kicks off this type of wider vision for Northamptonshire, but it's equally as important as when we involve everybody. And when I mean everybody, I mean children in schools. They're the future generations that are going to benefit from the work that this will kick off today, tomorrow, and after the conference. So it is important that we get everybody involved from all areas of our community, and I think that's what the Big 50 conference's key goal will be, to bring in every aspect of our community, the rural communities, you know, the towns and so on. So it's very important that we get this right, and I'm no doubt after the Big 50 conference we will have a real buzz coming in from the community on this and demonstrate what Northamptonshire Council is about, and it's about getting people involved. So, you know, I am absolutely happy to move this report, as you can imagine. Can I have someone to second me? Councillor Harrison, thank you. So the recommendations are set out on page 43 of the agenda pack. They've been moved and seconded. Can I have a show of hands in favour, please? Thank you very much. So we now move on to item 6, which is the Family Hubs programme update. And I'd like to invite Councillor Jean Addison to address the meeting. Councillor Addison, you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Apologies for being late.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, the Family Hub, for me, you know, this document, you're reinventing the wheel to a certain extent. You know, I'm going to have to bring up the outstanding centre in Corby. Why are you not using that as your base for Corby? I can't speak for Kettering, because for Wellingborough, because I don't know it well enough. But you're spending money that's already, the centre's already there. You just need to invest more into that centre, and you've got your wheel, and they can do the spoke. That's all. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Addison. I will leave Councillor Scott Edwards to introduce the report.
Apologies.
IT failure, Councillor Edwards.
It's okay. Thank you, Chair. And so this report is to update the Executive on the rather exciting project entitled Family Hub Programme. You'll remember from the previous reports that Northamptonshire Council was awarded £4 million to develop a Family Hub programme. You will see from this report that the first amount has been received and all deadlines have been met. The Family Hub Board was initiated earlier this year, aims to seek new ways of working together to commission services based on need with decisions driven by data and intelligence. This report sets out the work that has been undertaken to get to today's position, where we can announce the locations. The first Family Hub prototype will be developed in the Wellingborough locality. This has been decided based on data and intelligence, and there are significant issues facing Wellingborough families and have had little development in past years. Simultaneously, we will work to develop a hub in the Corby location by working closely with early years settings and providers to develop extended services for 5 to 19-year-olds. It is recognised that the Corby area already receives £512,000 towards a 0 to 5 offer, so to ensure it is fair and equitable, the 5 to 19-year-old will receive the support of the Family Hub programme. Further family hubs will be developed in Kettering and in the East Northants area in the future. The 4 key areas that the Family Hub network will work on are clearly set out by the Department of Education and are parental mental health and parental-infant relationships, parenting support, infant feeding support and home learning services. You will see in Section 6 of the next steps and in Section 7 the costs that are being attributed to the various areas over the 3 years of the programme. The University of Northampton are our research evaluation partner and will take the lead for liaison with practitioners, children, parents and carers, and it will also be evaluated by central government. You will also see attached to the report all the data that was needed to come to this conclusion. And I'd like to thank everybody that has been involved in this exciting project. A lot of time and commitment and work has gone into this, and I look forward to the fruits of their hard work. The recommendations are on page 77, and I propose this report.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. So, as Councillor Edwards has already said, the decision was based upon need, data and intelligence. And out of that report, we, already know we have an outstanding facility here in Corby as Pen Green for the 0 to 5 offering, which, as Councillor Edwards always said, receives a £500,000 already for that. Now, it's about looking at the need and data across the whole of North Northamptonshire, and clearly the Wellingborough need on this occasion is far greater. And I think we need to be fair as a council. We are North Northamptonshire Council. We need to target where we need to target within North Northamptonshire and deliver those decisions based on that need, the data and the intelligence. And that's what's important about this report. It's backed up by the data and the need. Councillors, do we have any comments to make? Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is a great report, and the work behind it is really clear and been really well done. What's the most important thing we can do is identify where there are gaps in provision and where provision is not providing the results that we would require. And that's exactly what this report has done. It clearly shows a need in Wellingborough for the first family hub, which will be the 0 to 19, I believe. And then in Corby, there's an excellent 0 to 5 provision, but there's the need for the 5 to 19 provision to be developed. This has all been based on data and is incredibly important. And I'm really confident it's going to make a really big difference. Once we learn from this, it's going to be great to then see us extend this to the Kettering area and the East Northants area, because ultimately we want everybody in North Northamptonshire to be able to get the best start in life and to go on to a successful and fruitful adulthood. So I think this is a wonderful report and really exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harrison. Councillor Binley.
Thank you, Chair. And Councillor Harrison has said much of what I wanted to say. I think, as Councillor Edwards has said, I think this is really exciting. I think that was absolutely spot on. And as you said, Leader, of course, this has been based on data. Of course, I am biased in the fact that, it has selected the Wellingborough area, in that, of course, I represent that area. However, of course, as we've talked about, this is about seeing the bigger picture and about looking at that data, and that's exactly what it is. We are Northamptonshire Council. That is the point. So I am really excited to see what fruits this comes to bear in the future, and as Councillor Harrison rightly says, how this can then be rolled out across those other areas that have perhaps been overlooked in the past for something such as this, because they maybe haven't shouted the loudest over it. So I think it is really exciting.
Thank you. And let's not forget, it's another £4 million investment within Northamptonshire. Again, positive on that respect. Councillor Lorman.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I really welcome this report. And first of all, I think we ought to congratulate the officers on achieving being one of the pilot schemes. And the whole thing is obviously based on a wealth of evidence, which is absolutely vital. Obviously, I welcome the investment in Wellingborough, and whilst I worry about the figures, obviously the investment in 0 to 5 in Wellingborough will be very much welcomed. As has been said, the start in life is so important, and so often these days we see a lack of parenting skills for whatever reason, but parenting skills being passed down. This is an opportunity for young parents to gain those skills and ensure that best start in life. So I really welcome this report, and I look forward to the opening of the sites.
Thank you, Councillor Lorman. Councillor Howell.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat everything that everyone else has said. I think we're all delighted with this report, and thank you to everybody that's helped put it together. What we have to think about is we are a really, really large district now. We cover a really big area, and having one centre in one place actually makes it quite inaccessible to a vast number of our residents. And we're talking about residents here that need assistance and possibly can't travel all around. So I really welcome the fact that we are looking beyond just one centre. We are looking to take this out across the whole of Northamptonshire, starting with Wellingborough, and of course we have Pengreen and Corby here. So that's just 2 now, but we are moving to take it further. And accessibility is key here, I think, because, as I said, this needs to be open to all of our residents. So thank you for this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Howell. So, Councillor Edwards, I move to you just to sum up and move the report.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for the positive comments, and I do look forward to them opening. And the accessibility point is absolutely right. And it may be that actually people don't want to visit a centre itself, but it may be that they want to do it online, but they may want to go and visit a centre, and so it's open to all. And just to say, actually, so while those 2 are opening, we're not forgetting Kettering and East Northants. There will be areas that we will be looking at whilst doing this as well, in certain areas that absolutely need that support and help. Yeah, I absolutely recommend this report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Edwards. So the recommendations are set out on page 77 of the agenda pack. They've been moved. Can I have someone second it, please? Councillor Lorman, thank you very much. So they've been seconded now. Can I have a show of hands in favour? Fantastic, thank you very much. So we move on to item 7, the Housing Revenue Account HRA Capital Contractor Procurement. I'd like to invite Councillor Binley to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Chair. This report seeks approval from this executive to procure capital programmes and projects for housing by appointing contractors. We have a housing stock of 8,084 properties, and we're responsible for repairs, maintenance and refurbishment of our properties. A considerable amount of works that we do to these properties are carried out by in-house teams, but we do have a requirement to contract out certain works, especially when these works are specialist, niche skills, the work is seasonal or for other operational reasons. As a council, we must review all factors when it comes to outsourcing capital works by checking whether it's best value for money, operationally viable, specialist skills or equipment are required, and so on before bringing services in-house, or whether it's best to have them outsourced. Section 3.2 lists the reasons for the recommendation and highlights the importance of this procurement programme, not least the fact that this process will offer better value for money. 3.3 details the other options considered and why they would not be appropriate at this point in time, but it does explain how they will be revisited before the expiration of any contracts awarded via a viability study. And 4.3 lists the 5 service areas that require the contracts, and they are electrical installation condition reports, energy efficiency, kitchens and bathrooms, roof replacements, and homes for the future. Approval of the recommendation would harmonise 4 of the service areas across both of the Kettering and Corby neighbourhood accounts. The kitchen and bathroom contract, however, would just be for Kettering only. And an open procurement process will be followed for the majority of options, and a mini framework competition will be used for electrical testing and energy improvement contracts. Contracts will be procured for between 4 and 5 years, and further details are contained within the report. 6.1 of the report does provide a fully forecasted timeline for the procurement process, in summary, starting in June of this year and ending by February 2024. So, therefore, Chair, I'd like to move the recommendations made out in section 3.1 for the reasons set out in 3.2. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bunday. Comments from members? Sorry, Councillor. What did I call you? Councillor Binley, thank you very much. Any comments from members? No? Okay. So, oh, sorry, Councillor Brackenbury.
If you're happy for me to speak, I really welcome this paper. We had a paper on repairs and voids that came to scrutiny on Tuesday, and members really welcome that, and we're pleased to hear of the work that's going on in the challenging conditions and the challenges that they face, the team face, and the variables, the many variables that that point to don't help those challenges. So we heard of lots of good work that's going on, and I welcome this as part of that work.
Thank you, Councillor Brackenbury, and we obviously always appreciate your input on these events. As chair of scrutiny, and as an executive, we certainly welcome the feedback of the scrutiny commissions. It's an important part of what we do as well. So I would like to see someone who would second that report, please. Councillor Howe, thank you very much. So it's been moved and seconded, and the recommendations are page 130 of the agenda pack. Can I have a show of hands in favour, please? Fantastic, thank you very much. So we now move on to item 8, the procurement of a grounds maintenance consortium contract. I believe we've got Councillor Valerie Anslow, who was due to speak, who has not turned up today. So I would just go straight to Councillor Lorman to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Chairman. This report is one that picks up an arrangement made by the former East Northampton Council in the year 2000. A grounds maintenance consortium was formed that provided various planned grounds maintenance in 4 parishes in the former East Northampton area and a small area of former East Northampton Council property that is now NNC's. This is currently subcontracted through one contractor. The contract, which has been extended, ends in December this year, and it's proposed to start a procurement process for a new contract on the basis of 3 years with 2 potential 1-year extensions. North Northampton would charge the 4 parishes in the consortium a management fee of £25,000. It's not yet known what the cost of the contract will be until the procurement exercise is completed. However, the parishes would be able to leave the consortium should the cost not be viable for them. However, that would put a greater cost on the remaining parishes. The procurement process could be either through an open procurement or through a framework. The latter will be quicker and possibly cheaper. However, it may mitigate against local suppliers who could not invest in a framework. Should the process not have concluded by the end of the contract, the report permits interim arrangements to be put in place. It's not felt that this work is something that NNC can do in-house viably for the parishes at this stage, and the parishes do not have the resources to conduct it themselves. Accordingly, I commend this report to Executive.
Thank you, Councillor Lorman. So I'd like... Sorry?
Sorry, no, I didn't say anything.
No, I would just like to invite members' comments. Councillor Howell.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I welcome this paper. We need to sort of provide some certainty to those councils involved, and it's only right that we continue to support those 4 parishes in the interim, and I really look forward to the outcome of the procurement process. So I'm sure those 4 parishes, towns and parishes I should say, will welcome what's coming forward, so that, as I say, they can keep we can keep supporting them in the interim, and also hopefully, you know, let's see what comes of it, because I'm very aware that costs are escalating. So hopefully we'll be able to get a good deal for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Howell. Any other comments from members? No. Councillor Lorman, just come back to you just to wrap up.
Thank Councillor Howell for the comments, and I'm sure we'll get on with it as speedily as we can.
Thank you, Councillor Lorman. Can someone second the report? Councillor Howell, thank you very much. So the report has been moved and seconded, and the recommendations are set out on page 138 of the agenda pack. Can I have a show of hands in favour, please? Thank you very much. So we move on to item 9, road maintenance in North Northamptonshire, petition referral from full council. So I invite Martin Rubiton to invite the meeting. You have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak.
Cheers, Chair. It's Ruby.
I shouldn't forget
You'll
that.
get it right one day.
Will do. Thank you.
I bring you fraternal greetings, first of all, from Corby Town Council. Today I'm speaking in support of the petition titled North Northamptonshire Council Fix the Potholes, which was submitted to full council by Councillor Alison DL at the end of March. The petition currently almost 2,100 signatures and very quickly gained traction when it was created in early March. You look at the comments in the petition, the message comes across loud and clear that the public are sick to the back teeth of the state of the roads in North Northamptonshire. Potholes blight practically every corner, every road in the unitary authority, and it was disappointing that the Conservative group voted against Councillor DL's motion to call upon Keir to develop an action plan to state what they are going to do to fix the roads, which seemed totally common sense to me. I was watching from the gallery for that motion, and I recall your executive member stating that this would be duplicating work already underway. So I asked the executive 2 questions. Where is that report, and what is currently being done to fix the disease of the potholes of our roads? You may recall in my speech to full council that I am a keen cyclist, but to be perfectly frank, it's terrifying to ride a bike on the roads in North Northants, and the only matter of time before someone is seriously maimed or killed. It should not be the job of a local town or unit councillors to be driving around their wards, taking photographs of potholes and uploading them to fixmystreet.com. But let me assure you that this is exactly what I and many other local councillors are doing. Surely it's the job of Keir to be proactive and to be out surveying roads for repair, not waiting for the goodwill of local residents to highlight the problem for them. So I say to you today, as a member of the public, as a local councillor, as a cyclist, hold Keir to account. Let's see their action plan of how they're going to fix the potholes. Let's see positive action on the roads before another winter degrades the roads even further. And let's see what we are getting for our 210 million over 7 years, because at the moment we do not see very much at all.
Thank you, Councillor Ruby. Councillor Hakewell, you have a maximum of 3 minutes to address the meeting, and if you could keep it on the narrative of what the paper's about, please. If you could discuss what the paper's about.
Thank you, Chairman, and I apologise if I kept speaking before, but you have to be passionate to be a councillor. I'm looking forward to listening to the consideration of the petition, and I'm pleased to see that petitions do come through for discussion and are taken seriously. I hope that the exec will authorise a full scrutiny to help to understand why the roads are failing so badly in this county after a new contract was awarded just last September. Recently, I had the experience, I live on the boundaries of the county, a pothole in Leicestershire, really bad one. Reported on Tuesday, by Thursday it was fixed, and on Wednesday I had a notification that it would be, and it remains fixed. Why, when we live in this county, do we just drive a couple of miles into another county and find that the roads are properly funded, properly fixed? I don't know whether we thought about it, but maybe we should ask Leicestershire to look after our roads so that maybe we can get some decent roads. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hakewell. I would like to invite Councillor Graham Lorman to respond and introduce any report from this.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to thank Councillor Dalziel for her comments at Council and Councillor Ruby for his comments now. Some of what I've got to say will reiterate what I said then. There's actually no question or proposal on this petition. It's just a list of locations and issues, so it's somewhat difficult to respond other to note than to note there is an issue. It's clear to us already that this is a matter of great concern to the public. We and Kier are fully aware of the problem and are meeting weekly to address it, hence our recent investment of £1.5 million, and are grateful to receive advice where the defects are, whether it be through Street Doctor, which is our preferred, or another route. The public are our eyes in this and can provide valuable insight, so we'll be pleased to receive the evidence mentioned and will action it where it meets the criteria which are published on the website. Kier do have engineers out there inspecting the roads and use the GEIST equipment to survey it as well. The situation is, of course, a national one, but we're working to undertake repairs as quickly as possible within the budget constraints we have. Kier are within contracted tolerances for all 4 defect priority levels. We do, of course, welcome the £1.494 million additional funding from the government. That they distribute this additional money shows that they do recognise that this is a national problem, compounded by the recent inclement weather, much of which has been especially hard on our roads. We are, as has been noted, in the process of spending £1.5 million of our own taxpayers' money on various highway improvements, including clearing vegetation, cleaning and repairing signs, replacing white lines and filling potholes. We know from public comments that this is well received from across the authority. The motion at Council spoke of a £30 million contract. However, not all of this money can be directed towards potholes. It also has to pay for road safety training, active travel initiatives, traffic light replacement, monitoring the roads, drainage clearance, regulation work, winter gritting and a myriad of other spheres of activity. That's not to say we don't recognise that there is an issue and that we need to improve the services. However, our budget is limited and frankly not enough to catch up, let alone improve the position. A report delivered just after local government reform calculated it will require £8.1 million per annum to effectively stand still, and with inflation that must now be about £10 million. £18 million plus per year was needed to make a real impact over a number of years, and our regular government grant is £3.75 million. Nationally, the 2023 Annual Local Authority Road Maintenance Survey shows a backlog of £14 billion, or £68,000 per mile of local road in England. I can tell you that in all 4 priority tiers of repair, Kier are within their response tolerances. They are concentrating on addressing the Tier 1 repairs, those that have a safety implication, so I would still urge people to report them on Street Doctor. We should also note that inclement weather makes repairing roads more difficult, as tarmac may not key in or set as well as in the summer. We will be aware that we have a new contract since last September with Kier, and our officers in Kier have been working hard planning their work schedules and priorities such that the new annual plan with a listed schedule of works has now been agreed in principle with the Strategic Highways Contract Board. The annual plan will be published on the website in the very near future for all to see, and certainly before the July executive. We already have many plans published on the website, including the local transport plan, which is due to be updated in the near future, and the process will be presented during this afternoon's EAP Prosperous Communities meeting, the network management plan and the asset management policy, and these already guide our contractors. However, we're also finalising a revised priority matrix for minor capital works, such as active travel, and this will be used in future. We'll be looking at every opportunity to improve the network, and this includes the additional government funding, which we'll be looking to maximise the benefit of. Of course, we will seek to ensure we sweat our assets, our equipment, as much as possible to be as efficient as possible and make as many quality, right first-time repairs as possible. However, the only real answer is additional funding, and the government and the executive will continue to seek this at any opportunity. So my recommendation will be that the executive note the petition and continue to explore opportunities to address the situation.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lorman. Any comments from members? Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just following on from Councillor Lorman's comments there about constantly looking for more funding and, working out how we can get more money into the system and repair more potholes and keep our roads in a better state. I think it would be, I don't think it would be unfair on the executive to say that's something we talk about a lot when we have our meetings. We're really hyper aware of the issue of our roads, not least because we all travel on them as well. I don't think that we would want to dismiss the concerns of the public. We are aware that there are too many potholes and we do want to get them filled, and we do want our roads to be in the best state possible. We only a few days ago were talking about what more we could do, and if and when that is possible, I know that Councillor Lorman will want to shout it from the rooftops, because we want to improve our roads as much as you want us to.
Thank you, Councillor Harrison. Just looking around the table for any other. Councillor Howe.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I mean, it does feel, not trying to put too much of a positive spin on it, it does feel over the past 2 or 3 weeks that we are making, as I drive around the area, it does feel like we are making some significant progress. There are less new ones appearing, and there are lots and lots of areas being done. So, we've got a problem. We know that. We, as Councillor Harrison said, we're discussing it all the time and working with Kia. But it does feel like they are slowly but surely getting a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brackenbury.
Thank you, Chair. I mean, I don't think the executive can do other than note the petition, because the petition doesn't actually say anything. It's more an assertion. But it's not, of course, a wrong assertion in the sense that it is something that does reflect a lot of public perception up and down all of Northamptonshire. So I do welcome the work that's going on to prioritise the pothole danger, so that the dangerous potholes are triaged and are addressed first, and that we carry on trying to make the roads as safe as we possibly can. And obviously, as was pointed out by Councillor Harrison, it's very important. Everybody travels on the roads, and at the moment, some of them do need some urgent attention. But thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brackenbury. Councillor Pentland.
Thank you, Chair. I think my response would be to this petition that, absolutely, like my colleagues, we completely understand the frustration and also the danger that potholes do pose as people travel up and down our roads, and absolutely we've got to continue working hard on this. I think that, to reassure members of the public, this executive is absolutely committed to working hard on this issue, as we have been doing so. And those discussions will continue. It is a national issue, but it's one that we've got to look at locally. I was pleased to see the recent announcement by the government of the extra £1.5 million for Northamptonshire to tackle this. And that's on top of the investment that we have made as Northamptonshire of the additional 1.5. So, of course, that doesn't go the whole way, but I think it shows that we are committed to dealing with this. And we've got to look at all the options to make sure that we can improve things for the future, because it is very important and we completely recognise that.
Absolutely, thank you. Just looking around, any other comments? I just want to pick up on a couple of points that was mentioned by, one of them was mentioned by Councillor Ruby, that we didn't support the motion that was brought forward. The reason for non-support of that is we were working on it. We already had an improvement plan that was coming through. It didn't want to create a complete other plan when we already were ahead of the game on this. It's been a very, very harsh winter, and if you think about it, the roads have taken a real battering, and even now it doesn't feel as warm as it should. But Kia are making inroads into repairing, you know, the damage and the scars that the winter season has left on our roads. And, you know, the extra 1.5 million that we've invested, the extra 1.4 that central government's invested is, you know, very welcomed and is beginning now to make a difference on our roads. This is an important thing. It's something that we challenge regularly at the executive catch-up meetings, and Councillor Lorman carries the bruises of those meetings, unfortunately. I only know how difficult it is sometimes to shoulder the responsibility of highways. But I think we are all absolutely aligned to ensure that we get the best road surfaces that we can for all the residents of Northamptonshire, of course within a budget envelope. And that's something that may need to be discussed. And on the note of discussions, I am meeting Kia myself this afternoon, and I look forward to speaking with them. So this was a petition to note, so there's no vote required. So this is the fact that this executive has noted the petition and reported back onto it. So we now move on to item 10, which is the capital programme update. And I would like to invite Councillor Hakewell to address the meeting.
Thank you, Leader, for allowing me to speak on this item. For once, absolutely delighted. I am one of the 3 ward councillors for Maudsley, and its Maudsley Primary School is one of those places that we're going to invest. I have a deep interest in SEND, and the thought that we've got 27 young people whose life chances will be improved by this investment of £186,000 pleases me greatly, and I'm sure it will please you all as you speak on it. It's a fascinating situation as to how Moore's... Sorry, did you want to... Okay. I didn't know whether you were listening. Or Councillor Howe wants to say something.
Carry on.
You can multitask.
Yes.
I thought only 3 minutes I should be listened to. Thank you. Or less. It's an interesting story as far as Maudsley is concerned, because the village was built brand new. And I remember back in the early 2000s that we were lobbying for a school, because everyone arrived there, bought their house, and seemed to have a baby, or come with young children. So the school was quickly too small. It grew and grew and grew. But now, of course, that initial surge of arrivals, literally in the village and the children coming, they've grown up, and the primary school has created some space. So some investment in the past is now being used, and I think that that is great. So I totally welcome it. I thank the portfolio holder, because no doubt he is behind the instigation of this. The only small point I'd make is that until I read this report, I knew nothing about it. And I'm one of 3 ward councillors, and I do think we sometimes fail at least to pick up the phone or drop a message and say, look, this is exciting, it's happening in your ward. And I think perhaps one of the things, we praise ourselves for 2 years so far, one of the things we could do is be better at... Sorry, you wanted to talk to the Chief Exec. We could be better at informing councillors of things that are going on within their wards, because I would be absolutely supportive of it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Councillor Hakewell, and I relish this moment where you're supportive of one of our papers, but obviously we have to agree the paper before we disseminate that information out to ward members. But being you're here today, you will get an email just to notify you of it, but thank you for your comments. Okie dokie. So, Councillor Bunday, would you like to introduce the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. I will take back the comment about ward councillors not being consulted, because part of the capital programme approval is that ward members should be informed of what's going on in their ward prior to this coming to the executive. But I'm happy to ask for approval for the following changes for the capital programme and its movement from the development pool of both Maudsley Primary School SEND Unit 186.4 thousand, Thrapston Primary School SEND Unit 372.3 thousand. Both are being funded through the Special Education Needs and Disabilities Capital Grant. Two very good news stories, and I'm happy to propose the recommendations in paragraph 3, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bunday. Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Chair, and I absolutely welcome this report. I have visited both schools. They're both in different parts of our county, and it is well needed and absolutely delightful that this has come through. Also pleased with the speed that it's come through as well, in that it was identified less than 6 months ago, and now we're here approving it, and we look forward to it being built later on. So I fully recommend this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Councillor Brackenbury.
Thank you, Chair. And you'll be pleased to know that I'm in complete agreement with the main thrust of Councillor Hakewell's contribution just now. So it's all happy accord here. But I do very much welcome this. I welcome the spend of £372,000 to look after the needs of 24 of our most vulnerable children in the Thrapston area. But of course, it's wider than just the Thrapston area, because this is a, this can attract children from further afield. So I welcome both the Maudsley and the Thrapston investment. I think it's excellent. I congratulate the portfolio holder and his team for getting this online so quickly, and very much support the paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brackenbury. And I just want to add, echo some of that. And look, again, investment from this council. It's good, and we can hold our heads high. And the schools are being invested in, our nurseries are being invested in, all areas of this area are being invested in, even our highways, as we've already discussed. So really pleased, and again, thanks to Anne-Marie Dodds and through you, Councillor Edwards, to your team for getting this over the line so quickly. Councillor Howes.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just very briefly, as most people know, I'm married to a head teacher now, and this is one of the big things that they are frustrated about in terms of provision, and this is going to go a long way to helping with that. So absolutely brilliant to see us investing in this area, and it'll be very welcomed. Thank you.
Okay, back to Councillor Bunday, if you just want to wrap up on that, and I know you've moved the report, but let's do it again.
Thank you, Chair. Just like to comment that it's disappointed that certain people come to speak to us and they want to be heard, but they're not prepared to listen to our comments because they leave. But the recommendation is at paragraph 3, Chair, and I'm happy to propose it.
Okay, I'll look for a seconder. Councillor Edwards, naturally, thank you very much. So the recommendations are set out on page 152 of the agenda pack. They've been moved and seconded. Can I have a show of hands in favour, please? Fantastic, thank you. So I can confirm that I have received no request to consider any urgent items of business at this meeting. So that concludes the business on the agenda, and I thank all members, officers and members of the public that are viewing this online, and I now declare this meeting closed. Thank you.